Alright guys, it's Sunday, about 20 after 10. You can tell from the snow cover here that got a little snow last night. The roads are wet, as they were yesterday. I had to salt yesterday morning. So, sorry for the bouncy cam. I'm finding if I hold this camera closer to my face that we don't get the interference that we do if I put it on the stand. So we're just going to hold it a little bit closer and try and keep the background noise to a minimum. So I had to go out and it's been snowing super light like this since probably about 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday. And it snowed off and on all day Friday, which we really didn't get anything because the ground was still warm. But then Saturday morning, we got enough snow on the ground that I actually just had to salt. But then it never stopped. It's been snowing super light like this, but it's got just enough moisture in it that it was actually stacking up. And we got about 2 inches from yesterday morning till today. So it took about 20 hours to put 2 inches on the ground, which is kind of a long time, and really it's not a nuisance. So I went out and did that this morning, and I went to the shop and cleaned off the parking lot, so when I get there to do some work today, that it'll probably be melted and all that. So we're just going to take a ride here and see what we can see. I watched a couple videos last night, and I really ended up going to bed kind of early. I think I went to bed about 11 o'clock. So we're going to try and get that hood done on the Duramax today. It's been 2 days since I put that ground coat down. I started basing that hood in, and I actually ended up having to work on another job yesterday. So I'm going to have to scuff sand all that base that's on there, which is, you know, it doesn't really make a difference other than we need to do it for adhesion purposes, and I can get a couple dirt nibs out of it. Because if you let your base set, you know, depending on the product, some of them, if you let it set more than 8 or 12 hours, you have to scuff it before you apply your clear. And others, you know, have a little bit longer window, but of course the P-sheets with the information on them will actually tell you, you know, the specifics of that. So I already know that's chroma base that I put down on there for the ground coat, and I'm going to need to sand it regardless. It's been 2 days, so I can't remember the exact time frame. I usually don't let anything set very long. I'll let it set overnight, but overnight meaning like 8 hours. If I leave the shop at 8 or 10 o'clock at night, and I'm going to come back at like 8 o'clock in the morning, so we're talking 8 to 12 hours. That's the longest I'll ever let one set, and if it's warm out, I would never let it go that long. Usually you end up scuff sanding them and applying another coat per the instruction sheets. So that's always recommended. If in doubt, scuff it and apply another coat. So we're going to get that going on, and it's going to take a couple hours to get it warmed up there in the shop. I was having camera problems yesterday. I made a video for you guys and then decided not to put it up because you really didn't get to see anything at all. And you know, a lot of times I'll say, well, they're boring or whatever. Well, this was mostly me talking about something I was trying to do, and I ended up actually doing the job. But the video ended up being 48 minutes long, and most of it was me not talking and just trying to work, and you couldn't see what I was doing. So I scrapped it, and I'll turn the camera back around here. The video that I had made yesterday was doing a door, I guess it would be a latch actuator cable on a limousine, on the one very large side door that has a cooler and stuff in it. doing that for the funeral home, and basically I had 5.5 hours or so in it, and it's just real frustrating. I pulled the inner door skin off of the car to see if maybe the cable that actuates it was broken, and just the way that the door skin had to be designed to put the cooler and stuff in it, they didn't have a cable or a actuator arm hooked from the handle to the door striker itself, latch, whatever you want to call it. So I had to fabricate something up, and it was just, I don't want to say it was a nightmare, but it was in real tight quarters, and again, couldn't really show you much. And you know, I try and always make a vid when I'm doing something, but sometimes when they're just that bad, and it's me mumbling under my breath to myself about how bad the job's going, I don't think anybody really gets anything out of those. But again, I don't know, I like to watch people no matter what they're doing, even if they're not talking much or describing it. You know, sometimes I'll just sit and watch those videos just to see what somebody's up to. So, that being said, and I also want to go over one other thing, and I've tossed this back and forth whether or not I was going to actually bring it up or not, but I think I'm going to bring it up. And I had a fella and or person, let's say, I don't know if it's a guy or a woman, but left a comment on my channel about using a scale to mix paint with, and I saw a video last night of somebody else saying that it's not right to do that because different products have different weights, and you know, the more I got to thinking about that, it's probably best to say don't do it that way. I said it was okay, but that doesn't make it right, because the more I think about it, you know, there's so many different variables out there in the products that you'll never get it accurate enough. And you know, I actually measured the volume of the products I was using and calculated out by weight how much that volume was, okay, with the actual ratio cup. So I guess I didn't disclose all my information, so I hope I didn't lead anybody astray, and let's just leave that better off said as, you know, always use a mixing cup. Don't disregard what I had previously said, because it's truly not the right thing to do, and it can cause you issues down the road. So again, disregard that. I'm not going to take the video down where I make mention of it, because there's a lot of good information in it, but you know, to anybody down the line, we'll make sure that they understand that that's probably not the proper thing to do. So I apologize if I led anybody astray, and all of that. So, you know, I make mistakes too, and I'm willing to admit it. So we got the mumble tonight, guys, so don't forget about that. Holy cats and dogs, look at this. Weather forecast says cloudy today. That's an awful snow type version of cloudy. I bet we end up with another 2 inches of snow on the ground by tonight, even though they're forecast for nothing. Unbelievable. Which is okay. I thought we were going to put that giant to bed after February. But I know a lot of you guys don't like these driving videos. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I kind of wanted to get that cleared up, you know, first and foremost this morning, because I wasn't sure how to do it, and I'm not always the best guy at explaining things, so it's always good for a second opinion. That certainly does not hurt my feelings, and you know, sometimes you bring something to my attention that you know, I thought was a good idea, but probably better left untouched. So we're done with that. Wow, it's snowing pretty good. Pretty amazed. I went out about 3 o'clock this morning, and I don't have a real long plow route on a Sunday, so it wasn't a big deal. We got that done, and where they make maple syrup, and they have pancakes and sausage and all that kind of good stuff. So you can go there on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday morning, and you can get pancakes and fresh maple syrup. But the temperature's been too cold around here for them to actually tap the trees, so it kind of makes you wonder where the syrup came from. I'm assuming it was not left over from last year, because that stuff's a pretty high commodity. They pretty much sell everything they have, so we went and did that this morning, and of course, like a jerk, I ate too many pancakes, but I'm all jacked up on maple syrup now, so we should be good to go. It's really hammering down the snow pretty good here. A lot of times though, when the roads are already wet and the temperature's up, we're at 24 today, and I think that's pretty much the peak of our day. It's going to be 24, 25 degrees. Snow won't actually stick to anything if it's been cleaned off, but it's also hard to say. Humidity's fairly high. I'd say we're in the 50% range, maybe 70% range, at least outdoors. Indoors, not so much. But anyways, I was talking about technical difficulties with the camera yesterday. I was taking video of that car and working on that limousine, and I looked down to hit the stop button on the camera, and it said 48 seconds, and I thought, uh-oh, what did I do? Did I leave my SD card at home and didn't put the SD card in it? And I went to hit stop, and nothing happened. And it wasn't, the timer wasn't running, it was stop at 48 seconds. Excuse me. So I actually tried to turn the camera off, and the camera wouldn't even turn off. And the Kodak PlaySport doesn't have like a battery compartment door where you can just pull the battery out without probably dismantling the camera. So I had to do some research, and there's actually a reset button inside that I had to hit, and that actually worked. And then I reformatted the video card, because they said sometimes a corrupt video card will do that. So I try and always remember to you know, obviously make sure the camera's off before I take the SD card out, but when you take it in and out of the SD slot on the computer, hit the eject button for that so that it makes sure it's not transferring data, and that'll screw the SD card up too, just like any other USB device. I'm guilty of plugging and unplugging things like headphones and stuff like that, but I try not to do that with a memory device. So we got a pretty decent amount of snow coming down here. Wow. Alright, well, this got boring enough for you guys, and I'm going to cut you loose here. So that's it for now. When we get going on the Duramax here, I'll click you back on. Alright, we got the heat going. It's 50. I had a little spot right there that I had nibbed with some 600 grit real quick. And all in all, this stuff's in pretty good shape, but we did mention that I need to scuff this. So we got a red Scotch right here, and we're just going to scuff this entire panel down real nice, because this base coat is sat past the window where you can just recoat it. It's got to be sanded first, or scuff sanded, excuse me. Don't like letting stuff like this sit, but yesterday it just didn't work out, and the day before I got sidetracked at the end of the day, and I just couldn't finish this. By the time I would have been able to go run up and get some fuel for the shop, it would have been time to go home. So I figured, what the heck, I had that spot in the middle there that I needed to nib out anyway, so I just let it dry. Notice I have gloves on. I went to breakfast this morning, and I have washed my hands, but run the risk of, you know, maybe I touched something that had butter on it or sausage, you know. You just don't want contaminants. I will be wearing a chute suit to lean out over this thing so that I don't get lint off my clothes in it. I used to be real good about doing that, but I didn't have one for the rest of this truck, so just haven't done it. So that's kind of what we're looking for. You can see that's nice and dull and scratched up. I'm going to do the rest of the hood while that heat's going. It's real noisy in here, and I'll turn you back on when I got the heat turned off and we got a temperature where we can start putting a base on this. So I'll talk to you in a bit. Alright, it's time to throw some base down. The base and the clear were both in a milk crate inside my house for the last several days, so they're pretty warm, but got kind of a double boiler going on here. I got hot water in that bottom mixing cup, and then my base coat's in the top. Mix 1 to 1, and in the first clip I had sort of talked about, you know, don't use the scale. I was wrong, sort of deal. But you know, I kind of always used it to mix small quantities, like less than. Let's look at a mixing cup here. Okay, we're looking at the 4 to 1 scale here. I think you guys can see that. If you go down to the very first one, that would be your product. So let's point to that right there. Then your hardener would be to that one, and then if it called for a reducer, then it would be to the next one. Okay, I was mixing product in the column, 4 to 1 column, less than that amount, and it seemed to be really close by weight. Again, don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. It's not the right way to do it. I've been corrected. I'm humble about it. But the funny thing was, I mixed that base coat up, and I wanted to prove it to myself that larger quantities, the margin for error is larger, and it is. Not hugely significant with something that you're just adding reducer to, but any catalyzed product, it would be significant. And what I want to say is, when I mix that cup of base coat, we'll set the empty cup next to it for reference purposes. I put the cup on the scale for my own argument's sake, and I poured base in it up to the 12, okay? This is a 1 to 1 base, so in theory we need 12 ounces liquid, not 12 ounces by weight, 12 ounces liquid of base coat and 12 ounces of reducer, which would put us at 24 ounces total when it's mixed 1 to 1. So I put the cup on the scale, and I hit tare to zero out the scale. I put 12 ounces liquid to the best I could see being equal with that 12 ounce line there, and it was 12.02 ounces by weight. Again, that would never work with primer, because primer's heavy. And then I hit tare on the scale again to zero the scale back out, and I poured by volume. You know, we have our base up to the 12. I poured by volume up to the 24, and it was 12.05. Maybe I got those numbers transposed. 12.05 was my number for the base. 12.02 was my number for the reducer. That doesn't really make any sense because that paint should be a lot heavier, but for that particular quantity it was pretty close. But again, don't do it, because the one product you use that is much heavier, like primer and clear especially, you don't want your clear mixed wrong, for goodness sakes, or your primers, because they will not activate properly. You know, just don't do it. Don't do it. But I had to do it to prove it to myself that it actually does not work. It's just really damn close for small quantities. But don't rely on it. So I'm not going to ever do that again. So there we go. I don't want to kick that dead horse anymore. Okay. So this is mixed up. feels like it's pretty warm and ready to go. I don't have the stand in here, so we'll try and maybe do this one-handed here. I don't know. I gotta find a strainer. Oh, I know what I wanted to show, and then I'll cut you guys off here. I'll just pour that so I don't spill out all over the floor. New sticker for the wall, Jerry, Cheater 40, Project 72. Thanks, buddy. I got your stuff in the mail yesterday. I think you talked a couple weeks ago about sending it, so that was actually a pretty good time. Couple weeks to come from Canada into the States. And you know, it's funny, we send you guys stuff and they destroy the packages coming across to Canada, but our side of the customs, they didn't even touch that letter. That thing didn't look like anybody had even touched it. It looked like they flew it in on a bird, man. That letter was as clean as could be. And you had a nice little note in there, which I thought was real cool. So thanks, buddy. I like that kind. So sorry for the shaky cam here, but I'm holding the camera and I'm going to try and get you on the wall here, or on the cabinet rather. Time to take the garbage out too. Holy cow. Oh, look at that, Jerry. You're going to fit perfect in the middle right there. I'll slide Rob over here. I don't know. Yep. We're married to it now. Boy, that's a good sticker. I'm going to come right over the corner of Terry there, but I'm sure he won't mind. So, bazam! There you go, buddy. We're getting them slowly but surely. You guys see I'm wearing a shoot suit. This is, I don't know where the package is here. This is a Moon suit. This is an SAS Safety Corp brand. It's a pretty nice suit for like 15 or 20 bucks. It's got Velcro arms and Velcro legs. So I'm gonna tie the legs up tight so I don't walk into them. And I've used the Tyvek ones before, but Tyvek ones don't breathe, and this one's actually pretty nice and snug to your body, and it's pliable, so when you lean over, it doesn't do this and drop into what you're doing. And sometimes I'll take a piece of tape and make an exterior belt on these so that they can't lean out. So, all right, there's 7 minutes worth of me talking about nothing. So I'll get you guys on the stand, and we'll turn you back on when I'm ready to shoot. Alright guys, we're up to about 78 degrees in here. Got the light where I can see. Got the tack rag here. Then I wipe this down once. Shoot suit on. So hopefully we won't get as much trash in this. But then again, you can look at the floor and say, well, it's dirty, you're going to get trash. And you're right, we're going to get some trash. No doubt about that. But hopefully we can minimize it to only be in the clear so it'll be easier to take out. Don't want to push down on these tack rags so you'll leave a film on there. Just drag it across, pick up whatever dust is settled on there. Another thing. See how clean that hose is? The first 8 feet of this hose is that clean. That'll help you keep some of the trash off. There, sorry about that. I wanted to take some of the twists out of this hose. Alright guys, we're going to start from this side. I'm going to push my way across to the middle. I'm going to move my crate. I'm going to start in the middle and pull toward me. 50% overlap. Guys, that was the first coat. I wanted to bring you out of the overspray. Wasn't too bad. Red and white seem to be real bad ones when you're painting for light reflection. So I only mixed up 12 ounces of paint, so 24 ounces total. And I might get my 3 coats out of that. So I'll bring you back when the fog clears and we're ready for another coat. Alright guys, we're going for another coat on this hood here. I don't see any body work that's problematic here, and of course it's too late now because we've got paint on it, but everything looks good. A little dry up here, not as good as I wanted it to be, but the rest of it's pretty slick. It's a bitch being short, that's all I gotta say. really difficult for me to reach the center of that hood. Notice I didn't throw my air hose on the floor, which is a bad habit that I've gotten into. Alright, go for another coat here. Make sure to get those edges. garbage